I guess I should have recorded before I started saying all of these. Danny did the same thing to me, so I should have remembered, and I just remembered it in this moment. So Anna Yanis is speaking today, and she is going to talk to us about being confident in challenges. So I'm going to mute myself now. And
Okay, guys. So I'm like not a really formal person, so I'm just gonna really just share from the heart today because I just want you to like kind of learn from some of my experiences, or just like by the end of this call, I just like really want you guys to be encouraged and take steps towards being a more confident person. Because if I can say anything that coaching has done for me over the past year is really learned how to be confident in who I am and to not apologize to people for being myself. And just kind of really sharing my life with others. I definitely do not have this topic completely down about being confident, but it's one of the things that I've struggled with. So I did a lot of personal development on it. I listened to a lot of different wake-up calls. So the first question that I kind of have for you guys to just kind of start thinking about is, do you want to succeed more than you want to fail? And the second question is, do you want to change more than you want to stay the same? And for me, that's deeper than just coaching. Like that second question, do you want to change more than you want to stay the same? Because that was me last December before I decided to do the 21-day fix. I had gotten to a really bad place in my life. And I needed to decide for myself, did I want to continue to make excuses for myself? Did I want to continue to kind of play the victim game for myself? Or did I want to make changes happen? Did I want to see things change in my life? And I knew that I had the ability to do that. I just had to be willing to make that step, make that change. And one of the main reason why confidence is key in coaching is because it can allow you to live your dreams to the fullest. Because when you're a confident person, when you're confident in your coaching, that means that you're confident enough to go out there and reconnect with people every day. You're confident enough to invite. You're confident enough to share every aspect of your life. Even if someone doesn't want to see another recipe or whatever, that they're getting sick of it, they're still watching you and you're being you. And that's important. So I'm just kind of going to give you 3 steps tonight, just some 3 practical steps to how you can start to become more confident. The first step, and to me, like this is key. Like if you can't get this step down, then you might be in trouble. But it's believing in yourself by having a strong why and desire to succeed. It's great if you have a vision. That's so important. But if you don't believe in yourself, then how do you expect to achieve it? How do you expect to get from A to B if you don't even believe that you can do it? Sorry. I'm just going to click my thought. But having a strong why is so, so important. It makes you get up in the morning, or at least it should. I know for me, I work a full-time job. I'm also in full-time ministry. So like, I know that when my alarm clock goes off in the morning, if I decide to press snooze, like I know that it's going to affect my business. But I have such a strong why driving me every day. Like we moved 18 months ago to a whole new state. And because God told us to work with a church plant, and Maine is one of the most unchurched cities in America. And it's really difficult having to work full time when your heart is in ministry, and having to divide your attention between the two is really hard. And always working all the time and not being able to put your heart where you want it to be, into people, into growing a ministry, into hanging out with them as much as you want to, kind of stinks. And not being able to see your spouse because your schedule changes every week, and having to kind of just figure things out really stinks. And I want to get to a place where I'm supporting us so that we can focus on ministry, so that we don't have to have 2-3 jobs. I don't want our attention to be taken from what God's called us to do. And so that's why I get up in the morning. That's why I coach. And it's because I saw even in school, like there's this emptiness that people have, and they fill it with food, and they don't even realize that they're not taking care of themselves. Like they're still lacking something spiritually and emotionally and physically. And like there's a complete fullness to it that too many people lack. And I just like really have a heart for like bringing that into focus for people and like seeing them succeed by believing in themselves. So having a strong why is super important because it keeps you grounded. It keeps you in those moments. Like I've had so many different moments this past year where I've had a lot of opposition or things happen. And I had to ask myself, like, is my why stronger? Like, am I going to let this obstacle be the reason why I stop, or am I just going to continue to go on? And so you have to make that decision for yourself. But if your why is strong, I'm confident that you'll be able to keep saying yes when times get difficult. So the second step is take advantage of every single opportunity to learn and grow. This is like super, super important. I can't say enough how important personal development is. I know for me, it's super important. I realize like the days that I don't take the time for it can be some of the days where I might be slacking off in one of my other vitals, or a day where I'm feeling really discouraged, where I know that I need to be picking up that book or I need to be listening to that podcast, because it just completely can change my perspective or my mindset. And usually those days when I don't do it, there's kind of more of like a heaviness or I have to do this. And like stuff becomes a to-do list instead of like, like I get the privilege to do this. Like I get the opportunity to build relationships with people, to help them, to encourage them. So definitely listening to national wake-up calls. Like I got to go to Summit this past summer. Like that's amazing. Like the thing that I love so much about our company is that no one is like secretive about success or what works for them. Like they are so open about sharing like their struggles, sharing what techniques have worked for them. I mean, that's why we have national wake-up calls every week. Like they're out there saying like what skills they have done to become successful. So we have that like free. Like we don't even have to pay for that. Like that's just stuff that's been given to us. And if we're wise, we're going to take the time to look at it, to really apply it to our businesses. And then one of the things that's really important is, especially with personal development, if you're going to read a book, make sure that you read it from start to finish. Just like we should complete a program from start to finish, like be dedicated in your personal development. If you're going to commit to a book, you need to read it from start to finish. And I know that I've been guilty of that. There's a book that I've never finished, and then there's been many that I have. But completing something is just really important. It's part of the growth process. And number 3 is understand that in order to be more confident, you have to decide to be confident. You have to decide that you want to be a confident person, that you don't want to stay where you are. I was listening to this one wake-up call from a coach. It was actually a guy, and he basically was like, you have a choice. Like he's like, you can be fearful or you can be confident, but the choice is up to you. No one else is deciding for you. You're deciding for yourself what type of person you're going to be. And I thought that's so true. Like you have the choice. Like you have the opportunity to decide what people you let in your life. Like be careful the type of people you allow to pour into your life. Are you letting the naysayers, the people who aren't supportive of your dreams and your business, are you allowing them to speak like you and wanting to see you grow? Like you have to be so careful. And then he even said, like, there was this cool thing that he said to do, and I know it may sound silly, and I haven't done it, but I think it's really smart. He said, set a reminder on your phone, like set a daily reminder to like then have the reminders. You need to set a reminder every day until like you get to the point where you just are a confident person. Like, do it. Like, feed you want to be. And if you have to remind yourself every day until you get to that point, do it. Like, do whatever it takes to like to grow, to be that confident person that you want to be. So you have to, so kind of like in conclusion, you have to decide for yourself if your purpose is more important than what other people think of you. Like, you have to decide, like, what voice is more important, like the type who you want to be and everything that you aspire to be, or do you care so much about what other people think? And I know for me, I can say, like, growing up, like, I cared so much about what other people thought of me, like, to the point that I don't think a lot of people saw the real me, because I was afraid if they saw the real me, that they wouldn't want to be my friend, that they wouldn't want to hang out with me. So I think for such a long time growing up, like, my voice was silent because I was afraid of what other people thought. And now, like, I could care less. Like, if people want to be my friend, they're going to be my friend because they see me as that. Like, this is me. Like, who you see on Facebook, like, that's the person that I am. Like, I'm not portraying anything else. Like, that's who I am. Like, I love my family. I love my church. I love my husband, and I love cooking. Like, that's me in a nutshell. I came up with a little assignment that I'm even going to do this week. So basically, you're just going to make a list of some of the tasks that scare you the most, or some of those things that maybe you haven't done because you're not really confident in that area yet. Like, maybe you're not comfortable with doing a live video on Facebook, or you're still not that confident in inviting, or there's someone who you've been meaning to talk to, but you're kind of afraid what they're going to say, or even inviting. Make a list of those things that scare you, and then commit this week to doing one of them, and then telling us how it goes. So for me, like, I know one of mine is, like, I really need to get better about live videos, but they scare the crap out of me. So I'm going to commit this week to at least doing one, because I want to be pushed out of my comfort zone. Like, I want to continue to grow. I don't want to stay in the same place. So I'm going to push myself this week to do that. So yeah, if you guys want to unmute yourself and have any questions or anything, you can go ahead.
That was incredible. That was like a sermon as well. So that was like preaching to me. No, I have a question and then a comment, but what was point number 3? Because I only got the first half.
Sorry. Understand that in order to be more confident, you have to decide that you want to be confident.
Okay. Yeah, that was so cool that you mentioned, like, read a book like a program. Because when I was at Super Saturday, Julie Voris is the one who spoke. I remember I did a video about that, but it was so cool because she's like, every time you do a program, you also need to be in a book. It's the same thing, because, like, you're working on your physical, but you're also working on your emotional. And she even, like, kicked me in the butt, because she was like, you don't just, like, hop to everything. She's like, you can do, like, a podcast, like, once a week or, like, whatever, but, like, you need to be in your book. Like, you don't just, like, read a book, like, once a week and then come back to it after you did, like, all of these national wake-up calls. Because then she said, your national wake-up call isn't personal development. It's your business. And I was like, dang it. I've been using the national wake-up call for, like, all of my personal developments this month. So I decided to really commit to reading Jab, 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 Right Hook. Because I got it like a while ago and I haven't started reading it yet. So I'm really committing. I'm not reading like for 20 minutes, but I try and read at least 5 pages a day. So I'll read like 5 pages of a book and then I'll do a podcast or I'll listen. And like some days I don't. Like Friday, I didn't get to read it, but I was so proud of myself because I did a podcast and then I was like, I read my book every other day this week. Like even if it was 10:30 at night. And it feels so good to be like, I can get through a book just like I can a workout program, even if it is just a few pages a day. So I like love that perspective. And I think it's really, really incredible. And I am going to do a live video because I am also afraid of them. So
yeah, I'm committing just so I have accountability. I'm reading Daring Greatly this month. I like started it last month and then I kind of put it on the back burner, but now I'm going to like get back into it every day. So
sweet.
And then there's just one thing I forgot to add. Like, I just thought this was cool. So they're kind of 3 simple rules to remember when it comes to like dealing with comfort and confidence. It said, rule number 1, if you do not go after what you want, you'll never get it. Mm-hmm. Rule number 2, if you do not ask, the answer will always be no. And number 3, if you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm like,
no, you're fine.
Writing it down. Does anybody else have anything? If you don't, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure before I ended it that I think they're writing down too.
What was number 3 again?
Okay. If you do not step forward, you will always be in the same place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, and this is so random, but Elise got her first Success Club points.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to shout her out. I forgot to do that. I did it in the team page, but it's so much more fun in person. So, and Ashley's killing it. So
she's awesome.
She's doing awesome. I'm so excited. When she asked a question today about Shakeology ice cream, I was like, I love when people ask questions in a challenge group. It was great.
You guys are still doing Facebook for a challenge group?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, Anna and I have been doing a challenge group and it's going awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love running it with me.
Me too.
It's so much more fun having somebody else.
Yep. Because you at least know that one other person's going to be active every day.
Yeah, and I think it's also good, like, accountability.
Yep.
When you guys left, when I had you guys do separate challenge groups, I was like a mess. I was like, I've never done it without all of them before. What am I going to do?
Oh, no.
But hold on. Sorry, I kept recording. I should really stop.